New on NFL Live, sorry Texans fans, including yours truly, the Texans have officially ruled out quarterback C.J. Stroud for Sunday's game against the Browns. So it'll be Case Keenum starting once more. Of course, he did lead them to an overtime win against, the former Oilers wearing those uniforms last week. Okay, meanwhile.
Got a lot of emotion in that one. She was salty.
I'm not salty at all. I'm very happy. How about Joe Flacco? He's going to be in the limelight this weekend. He continues his incredible comeback story. Signed to the Browns practice squad in November 20th. They finally signed him to a contract as well. Made his first start less than 2 weeks later. 3 games with the Browns. He's thrown for 939 yards, an average of 313 yards a game, 5th most passing yards by any quarterback in their first 3 games with the team in NFL history. It is insane to think that we have a 38-year-old Joe Flacco starting against a 35-year-old Case Keenum in a critical game down the stretch. What has made Joe Flacco so successful these last couple of weeks?
Well, to me, it's that Joe Flacco hasn't missed. When you look early in the season for the Cleveland Browns, even when Kevin Stefanski would dial up the right play, there seemed to be something off in the chemistry or connection between quarterback and wide receiver. We haven't seen that with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has been dialed in, and if it's wide open, whether it's Njoku across the middle or Amari Cooper downfield, Elijah Moore, who his kids wants him to throw the football to from the New York Jets connection that they have, Joe Flacco has been right on point. And even in the game last week with 3 interceptions against the Chicago Bears, when it was time to make the critical throw, every time it was right on point.
Super Bowl MVP, guy's been around. Marcus?
Yeah. RC, I love it. I keep going back to Joe Flacco was in this league playing when we were, and we were all about matchups. And that David Njoku matchup that he's finding game in and game out, you see the emergence of that. That's just looking down the field and saying, my guy is more athletic. He's bigger than the guy that's covering him. And I just got here yesterday, and I feel comfortable with getting him the football, and he's going to make a play for me. And Joe Flacco has really leaned into that when you start to look at the production over the last couple games for David Njoku. And then the next thing that it does for your football team, remember, the Cleveland Browns are essentially and always wanted to be a physical run team. That's who they want their MO to be. I think Njoku brings some of that violence downfield, and that's why we're starting to see him get targeted a hell of a lot by Joe Flacco, and it's starting to turn into what this team can count on in critical situations, which I think is the most important thing when we start talking about pushing towards the playoffs.
Swag, this has been a journey for David Njoku and also his head coach, Kevin Stefanski. We got a chance to talk to him on the CW at Inside the NFL, and he said it didn't start this way between his head coach and him, but now both Njoku and Joe Flacco are the beneficiary of a relationship that has grown to be good.
Since Kevin initially came to Cleveland, we didn't always see eye to eye. It was actually the exact opposite in the year of 2020. We were not on the same page at all. And just seeing us grow together, he evolved from not hating, but, damn near hating each other to, just like the camaraderie we have, it's just night and day. It just all comes full circle. So we're really blessed that our relationship has grown in this way.
Yeah, that relationship growing is a huge part to why David Njoku is such a big piece of this offense with Joe Flacco. And if you go back to last game, he's actually calling a play late in that game saying, I want to get it to David. I know he can make the catch, and he can get a big run after, and that's how they got in field goal range.
Gave him the game ball. I went to Cleveland. I interviewed Njoku after his fire pit accident. 2 days later, he's playing in a division game. I mean, he can't even get his helmet on and off. Played in an insane amount of pain, and as his coach said to the rest of the team, this is what being a Cleveland Brown is all about. Just follow this guy's lead. So very cool story. Game picks, everybody, and predictably, I am the only one taking the Texans. You know what? And I'm going to ride with the Texans with Case Keenum. I'm going to go ahead and do that.
And you're probably going to be wrong, but you got to stick with your guns.
Yeah.